All right, this is the Algebra 1 Unit 5 Lesson 4 video over writing equations for parallel and perpendicular lines. So just as a reminder, probably an important concept to cover when we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines is that when we say parallel lines, we are talking about lines that go the same direction, and therefore they have the same slope. So when we ask about lines that are parallel, we know one thing is going to be the same, and that is the slope. So that's parallel, and then on the other hand, we have perpendicular. Perpendicular lines intersect to form a right angle. So their relationship between their slopes is different. When it comes to perpendicular lines, the main way to think of it is that the slopes are, sorry about that, a little messy. Slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. Opposite means, reciprocal. Opposite means that one is positive and one is negative, and reciprocal means that if it's a fraction or a whole number, you need to flip that fraction. So we'll talk about examples of these here in a minute. Let's look at what types of problems they're going to ask us. So the main way that they're going to be talking to us is they're going to say something like this. Find the line parallel to, and they'll give us an equation, y equals, let's do x plus 3y equals 6 through the point 4, 2. Okay, so we have a point that it goes through, and we have this other equation. And we know that the line we're looking for is parallel to this line. So in order to deal with that, we're going to actually need to find out this line, and we're going to need to put it in y equals mx plus b, or slope-intercept form. So let's go and do that. We learned that in a previous lesson. You need to go back and look at those lessons if you're needing to brush up on how to do this. I'm not going to cover it in length here. You need to go back and look at the previous videos. So to get this into slope-intercept form, I'm going to subtract the x from both sides, leaving me with, let me erase this here, get this out of my way. That's going to cancel, leaving me with 3y equals negative x plus 6. And we end up with y equals, this is going to be written as negative 1/3 x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is the slope-intercept form of our original line. So we learned now, we know what we need to know. We know that the slope of my parallel line is also negative 1/3. That's coming from right here. That's the slope. So we know that. And then we also know that it goes through the point 4, 2. Now this is the types of problems that we did in our previous lesson. It's called point slope. So I'll remind you of the formula, the point slope formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to plug in our values into that equation. Y minus y1, which is 2, equals negative 1/3 x minus 4. I just realized I meant to change that. I'm going to make an alteration to our, well, that's okay. We'll finish it out. Minus 4. And then we work this out. So we're going to get y minus 2 equals negative 1/3 x plus 4/3. We're going to add 2 to both sides. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 10/3. I got that because 2 can be rewritten as 6/3. 4 plus 6 is 10, And so that's the equation that we get right there. So really what this is taking the original equation that you got, finding its slope. Once you find its slope, you use that, because it's parallel, you use that and the point given to use the point slope form to find the equation. All right, let's try one where we have perpendicular. Find the line perpendicular to the line y equals 2/3 x minus 4 through the point -2, 5. All right. So we actually already know the slope of this original line, but we need to deal with it being perpendicular. So in order to do that, we need to take this and we need to do opposite reciprocal. To do opposite reciprocal, we change the signs. It's going to become negative, and then we're going to flip the fraction. So remember, this means positive or negative. This means to flip the fraction. So this is going to become -3/2, and that is the slope that we're going to use. So again, we have an m of -3/2, and we have a point of -2 and 5. So we're going to jump over and do our point slope formula again, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Plug that in. We get y minus 5 equals -3/2 x minus -2. We'll deal with that in a second. Y minus 5 equals -3/2 x. This is going to become +2. So it's going to be -3. You can do that in your calculator. -3/2 times 2 is -3. That's where we get that. Then we're going to add 5 to both sides. Y equals -3/2 x plus 2. And then that is the line that is perpendicular to the original line up there. So that's pretty much what they're asking you to do here. You can see down here, there's a bunch more examples in the lesson itself. You can also watch this short video they have. But in all of these, they're giving you an equation and a point, and you either do parallel, right? Parallel, parallel. And then down here, you get to perpendicular starting in number 6. X-axis, that would tell you that the line, if the original line is the x-axis, then the line perpendicular to that would be the y-axis. So that's, would be a slope of undefined. So what you need to know is that if your x-axis is going to be a y equals number, you should be looking for a x equals answer. So right away, that eliminates numbers answer choice A and B. And then similarly with the one down here in the bottom for number 10, if you're starting with the y-axis goes up and down. So if you're perpendicular to that, you're going to the x-axis. That means it's going to be y equals. So you need to eliminate answer choices A and C. Number 11, straightforward. Number 12 is the same as the examples I did. All right, so that's it for lesson 4.